guys, I am back, and today we are doing a little bit more testing of some rollers. This set, and then I was probably going to do a little project at the end too. But this set is my Grunge series, and let's see. So I have tiny double tall, and that's small, and these are XL. And yeah, mini jumbos printed up at the moment. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to give a quickie overview of the size difference and the pattern changing in the size difference. Let's see, these are both embossing. So there we go. You're upside down. There we are. But yeah, so basically double tall is just the pattern extended or doubled to fill up twice the amount of height with the smaller width. And then this is, I don't offer tiny in a half size or in the normal size. I only offer it in the double tall because then that's just like an itty bitty roller. So, and these will only be in collections. So I'm working on getting all that put on the website and on Etsy. But yeah, so that's kind of how the size changes. It scales, so you get wider openings and you actually get deeper spacing on it. So if depth is a thing and you want them super deep, you want to go with the extra large or jumbo. If you're working with jewelry and lighter depth stuff, then these tiny double talls still have a good bit of depth to them, but they're not outrageous. I'm thinking the people who work with like the metal clays, I'm thinking that these tiny double talls will be great for them because they don't want to use so much clay. So yeah. Anyway, so those are the collections we're playing with. The big guys out of the way, because I'm planning on just running the little ones through. Else out of the way, because we need our samples, and then I was got a little bit of clay set aside for doing a little project. Thank you. Okie dokie. So let's just start here. This one is labeled Vortex. As always, get them wet before I roll anything because stickage down. Actually, I'm going to spray these real good because they do have a good bit of little nooks and crannies in them. So the more detailed they are, the wetter to get them. A lot of people like cornstarch. I don't tend to use cornstarch because a lot of times I'll use mica powders or pan pastels or all sorts of stuff that I want the clay to be able to absorb. So that's why I tend to steer away from those guys. And then some people like Armor All, which I'm sure works amazing. I don't use it also because it'll repel. So if I start putting inks and stuff into it or whatever, powders, whatever, it'll repel. So water is, in my opinion, my preferred because it is kind of the safest. Okay, so this one is embossing. And this one's one of those, actually all of these are where it's just like I make it up because there is no actual embossing or debossing because it is abstract patterning and the main design is kind of its own thing. So yeah, so on embossing, I'm calling the thinner line the main design is what I have decided on this set. So that is embossing. This one is debossing. You see just how nice and deep that gets. So this one's going to punch the finer line in rather than leaving the finer line elevated. I think if depth matters, this might be the one that rolls out deeper of the two. Would be my assumption. But in all honesty, it's so similar, it's a little irrelevant. But you can see the fine line here is elevated, and here the fine line is pressed in, and the not fine line is elevated. That one is just such a great pattern. Fun for almost anything. Put you aside. And then the next one here, we'll do wired. And this is another one of my absolute favorites. I think I'm putting you guys. Wait, no, that was correct. Okay. Trying to keep this straight. because it gets weirder as we go. So this one is the one I'm calling debossing. And this is the one I'm calling embossing because that main wiry line is pressed in here and sticks out here. Doesn't matter. I just needed to label them so you guys can see a picture and make a purchase. There we go. So that is debossing, and then this one is embossing. So debossing on Makume Gane on this isn't going to leave you with good scraps. Embossing, on the other hand, will. These are all interconnected, so they make really cool scraps. Light on there, yeah. That is still one of the coolest patterns I've ever done, and that was another one of those first handful. It was actually a piece of ribbon, like a funky, wiry looking ribbon that was hanging around my little craft studio, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me see if I can make a pattern from that. And I did. Oh, actually, these all kind of have neat stories, except for the last one. But this set, I was talking to friends about making rollers, and she's like, oh, things with cool patterns. And I'm like, textures. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I've got this great grass. So she sent me a bunch of pictures of her grass. And her last name is Sarak, so it's labeled Sarak grass. Yeah, it's just got all the little teeth and whatnot, and now I've mixed them up. I'm pretty sure the grass pieces pressing in are going to be debossing. So this one's debossing, this one's embossing. We'll have to double check it compared to the photos that I already have. This is where it gets really tricky figuring out which one's debossing and embossing. So that's supposed to look like the blades of grass are pushed in. And then for embossing, which looking at the roller I would have called, no, I would call this embossing. Yeah, it's the next one that looks backwards. No, it looks right. I don't even know. I give up. Oh, let me see. Make sure nobody's chatting that I'm missing. Okay, it doesn't look like it. Turn the volume off so I don't distract myself. And there we go. So that is Sarat grass. And again, it's like almost a tribal type pattern. And it almost doesn't matter if you're using embossing or debossing because they're just so abstract. So if there's any details you care, like these teeth are raised up versus pressed in. But like I said, just neat patterning. A little irrelevant, but looks cool both ways. Where's my last pile? Look at me being all prepared. I think it was all the wine last night. Hold on a second. Apparently that was a 20-minute reminder, so we might not get to the project today. Debossing, embossing. Yes. So this one is embossing. Is it really getting that late? It is, isn't it? Oh, well, happy Easter, everybody. There you go. I hope you guys are all enjoying yourselves, spending some time with family. Dip out shortly and spend some time with our family. Alrighty. And this one is debossing. And for this pattern, I was looking something that just had like that resemblance to shark teeth. And I think it's really cool. Oh, this one didn't double well. So I actually just stretched out the pattern. So if you want the teeth to be closer together, get this. If you like the longer look like that, double tall is really good too. Yeah, so deboss, emboss. Maybe that is backwards. Don't hold me to that one. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, there we go. So that's those. And then a quickie little project I wanted to try. Probably have 10 minutes to do. And ended up longer than a tile, didn't it? So I want to do just segments in each of these. I'm going to actually cut this roughly in half and use the second tile so that I have enough room. So this is 4 colors. And it's another one of those just colors I had floating around. This is a purple mixed with my bronzy blacky thing that I do all the time. So it's usually, I believe, like 2 parts black, 1 part bronze. And then I threw some purple in the mix. And I don't know, it's possible it was purple that was already mixed with another metal color, so I'm not sure. This is that teal I like to make all the time. It's forest green and white. Sometimes I mix some metallic in it, but it doesn't look like it's in there this time. This is that kind of ecru color I've been making a bunch lately. So it's white, pearl white, and ecru. It's like 2 parts white, 1 part pearl white, and a half, no, quarter part ecru. Like it's very little ecru. And then I don't remember. I'm thinking it's just a mix of metallic colors. I don't think there's a base color to it. I just think it's like copper and bronze mixed together. I don't remember. Yeah, it's highly metallic, and yeah, I'm thinking copper and bronze, but I'm not positive. All right, so I'm gonna start with this guy, and let's see. I was saying I think this will work better, and then I want these to be, so I'm using debossing in this one because I want that fine line to press in. This I want to be able to slice off and keep some of the shavings. So, ooh, I'm going to need an extra tile, and I ran through all my tiles working on those. Give me half a second, guys. Tile back. I did not ruin those. There. Alrighty. So I am going to need a tile for putting scraps on, but not there because that's in my way. I don't need that knife any longer. Did I just turn my light off? I think I did. There we go. Should that there. So we're going to go half C and half C here. I'm going to spritz them again. I don't think it matters whether it's embossing or debossing on Vortex. But like I said, I kind of wanted just those fine lines to press in a little harder. So I did not polish that down. To burnish this down to make sure everything stays put where I put it in the first place. And a little reverse and forward. I'm going to get this one to about that halfway point. There we go. A little over halfway, we'll see. And then next one is wired. There we go. Oh, and depth of colors. The gold, the white, and teal were stacked together, rolled out on a 0, pressed down to a 3. And then the purpley bronze was rolled out on a 0, stacked together, and then rolled out back to a 0, so that I got a good stretch on these. Because the last time I tried playing with this, the colors were too, a little too much of each of the top 3 colors. Let's see. Now that those are filled in, we'll do this real quick. So for Sarak Gra, I definitely want this one on that. Right? Yeah, that's what I want for that one. And again, so I'm going opposite. So I'm going embossing on the grass and debossing on Grim Grim. you guys down real good. Also, I'm not using that silver metallic, although there's a lot of metallic in this clay, so it should be a little more resilient to catching into the rollers. If I was running the dark color through this, it would be a lot more likely to catch. And I don't remember if I burnished that one down when I burnished the other one down. My hand and work to let you in. Alrighty. So, whee! And then Cyrac grass. You can see. So roll back and go in. Definitely have a very similar effect to each other. Let's see, yeah. I caught the purple. I told you. So soft clay is way more likely to catch in the rollers than a firm clay. So if I was going to try to use it, there's a lot of black in that. In this particular batch of black I have, it's just really, really, really soft. See how easy that came out though. It's best if you catch it before you roll it back into itself again. That goes over there. Oh, nope, losing things now. All right, whatever. That's lost. Okie dokie. So now I don't know if I'm going to get to shaving all of this before I have to dip out, but I will at least expose a bit of this so you guys can see what we're playing with. And if anybody doesn't understand what this technique is, this is called makumegane. And it was originally a technique for folding steel where you use, I think it was for folding steel, where you just make layers and then expose pattern by slicing back the layers. So I am slicing just very lightly and taking these small bits off. So now those small bits can be decorative for other things or just rolled into a scrap ball and turned into a bead. I often try to work with colors that are very congruent together. That's the right word. Cohesive, that's a better word. It's nice to be able to just roll up all your scraps and make a new color. So a lot of times I'll try to plan it that way, but I'm always great about it. And looking at these colors, I don't think they would work that way. Let's do something in between with both these. It got a little deep there in the middle because the clay rose up. Lack of pressure. And I'm still could have stretched this out more so that I expose that purple underneath. So the purple underneath might just end up being a backing. Just a little peek through color. Back to working. Oops. Eek. Yeah, that's looking good. That piece is really cool right there. Alrighty. There we go. Very cool. So yeah, there's a bunch more shaving to do, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what we would be working with. That's going to end up just being a scrap ball because I don't have the time to try to keep it organized. So still ends up making cool patterning, even if all you do is roll it up into a ball. Now these guys, I wouldn't mind keeping a little bit better controlled. Very, 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 very careful with your slicing in. You can expose and keep that entire cutting. That's where this one is like one of my favorites to use for relief. Um, so that's wired. And I'm not sure. Whoops. I used the right side of that blade. This I would have to use something to keep that organized. But actually, that's not bad. If you get enough of that round piece, you can keep some of that. But in order to actually keep that organized, you'd probably want to have it use plastic or use a piece of translucent. And that's working pretty good. So those will make good shavings to use later. We'll hang on to those. Again, just I love the funky organic shapes that show up out of these rollers. It's such a neat set. Yeah, I can pull just a little bit more of this back. Not so deep. I like that it's exposing some of that dark, but I don't want to overdo it. I can always come back and do more. But yeah. All right. I probably need to go get ready for dinner. Oh, lunch. Whatever it is. Oops. Alrighty. So, yep. That is the end of today's project. And I will leave this on my desk and go run and get out of here. Hope you guys have a wonderful Easter.